Now, let's say I have the coordinate system. Now, I want to create a line on this coordinate system. How can I do that? So I can just drag the line node, and in the line node, you can see the technique says by points, and there are two inputs that are mandatory. That means that are coming up, start point and end point. But here I only have 1 point, one coordinate system. And how can I hook the where? So there's this area from where I can just click and I can just give it to the start point. I can create it. But once I create it, you can see there is this icon that came up. It says it is incomplete. You must provide values to the following input port, and it says the input port name, that is the endpoint. But I do not have any other coordinate that I want to have a line. I just want to have the line in this exact location. So this is the place where different techniques comes up. So right now the technique that I've chosen is by points. That means it will create a line whenever I would have a start point and end point, not when I have only 1 point or one coordinate system. So I will go to the drop down and I would see what would be the perfect one for me. The one is the next to it. It says by start point, direction and length. If I hover over to the node, it has a little description of it. It says create a line from a start point, direction and length. That means it will take a start point, a direction and a length. That means it doesn't need 2 points. I can have this one as my creating a line. So I can just click on this technique. So once I click on the technique, you can see the start point has already been picked because the start point I have given already in my previous technique, the by point. So I have the start point now. It says it wants to have a direction. Now my coordinate system has a direction. Let's say I want to have it in the Z direction. So in here, I can see this little arrow that says I have a Z direction over in here. How can I specify the Z direction? In the direction tab, when the cursor is blinking over to here, I can just grab this little direction line. I can click on it and you can see that it has automatically selected the Z direction onto it. So that is one way of doing it when we know in which direction we want to do it. Let's say I know in which direction I want to create my line. That is the Z, and I have clicked on this one. So the Z direction has hooked. Now if I again go to the icon, it says it needs an input for length. And if I hover over to the length, it says it's asking for a numeric value. I can just give a value of 2800. Once I hit on enter, you can see a green line has got created. You can see green line has got created. It's pretty much not easy to look into that. So I would change my viewing display styles to wireframe. So once it is wireframe, you can see one line has got created with the length of 2800. I can just change the length to anything and the length of the line will change. I would just change it to 3500. See, the line has got increased in its length. So this is the way I can create a line. Let's say I want to create a line in Y direction. Again, I have the line node back in here, or what I can do is I would just delete this one. Deleting a node from the graph, the keyboard delete doesn't work. So on the modified with the delete submodel, we have to use this. Click on it and it will do it. I can just click on the line 3 and I can just right click and there is an option called copy. I can just click on the copy and I can just do a paste tool. What it is doing, it is also remembering what is the inputs that I have given. I want it to be in my Y direction. So the direction needs to be changed. So I will just delete the direction. And once I delete the direction, it is giving me that I need to have a direction. Now here, so the direction is, so I can just type in the name. So once I start typing in the name, you can see that in the drop down, it is giving me the suggestion, what it is. So the first, yes, I got the first, yes, I will click on enter. Once I click on enter, now I would use a dot operator. So what is dot operator is, so any of the properties that is associated with that node, I will get access of those items. So I just click on the dot operator. So once I've clicked on the dot, I use the dot operator. You can see there are multiple items that have came in. In here, what I want is my direction. So for the direction, if I scroll down, I can see my direction over to here. So Y direction, I can click on the Y direction. I will click on enter. You can see the Y direction came in. I would click on enter and you can again see that I have created a line in the Y direction. Now, let's say someone asks me, now I want to create a line which starts with the end of this line and the end of this line. So how can we do that? It's very much easy to do in generative components. For doing that, what we need to do, I'll just do it. So again, I want a line node. So this time I have 2 points. So I will be taking this point and this point. So I would use the by point. node and start point. I want to have the start point of this line from this location to this location I want to have. So for lines, we always have an end point and start point. Now, if I click on the drop down, so this drop down output port, you can see there are multiple items. So it also tells me the length of it. So what I would do is line 3 is my this line. So I would hook this line over to the start point and I would try to hook this one. Let's see what happens. Once I do it, I am giving an error. So error says the start point is not a point type. That means if I hover to the start point, you can see that the type takes an I point. That means it is looking for an I point. What are the I points are? I points is a coordinate system, a plane, a point, a direction on an elevated surface. It is not going to take a line. So what I would do is I would take the end point of the line 3. Again, go to the dot operator and I would start typing end. So once I start typing on the end, you can see that we have got an endpoint. I just hit on enter to the endpoint, and I would do the same thing for line 5. So each line has a start point and an endpoint. So once I click on the endpoint, I do not see anymore the cross, and I can see a line has got created automatically. So what I've done, I've just used the dot operator, and I have just got the endpoint. You can see that once I've hit the endpoint, you can see that there is something that's called endpoint that has popped up over to the output port section. Now, if I have to change the length of it, let's say I change the length of 4,000, you can see the corresponding line will also change. So you can see that I've changed this length of the line and the corresponding line of this length is also changed.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.